Okay, good afternoon. My name is Pedro Ferreira and I'm the host for today's webinar. We will speak about personal versus professional life, how to find the right, not balance, but the right way to do it. And most people think that we have to sacrifice one to get the other, but in reality that there are very good tips and you can be coached properly to get the both of the better of both worlds. So to speak about this topic, we will have a certified coach, actually a master coach, a master two coach. She's a businesswoman and she was director on a company, and she was responsible for a 30 million P&L, which is quite significant P&L. And besides that, like I said, she started her career in the personal development area. She started 15 years ago, and more recently, she did a master's degree, a master's 2 degree in coaching. So today she's an executive coach. She's very well prepared. She's a very dynamic woman. She's happily married and she's the mother of two beautiful young babies. They are unbelievable. And I can tell you that one of the things that inspires her most is the fact that she sees her clients thrive. So please help me to welcome Sibylle Astrid Pomaré. Sibylle, welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks a lot, Pedro, for the introduction. And yes, I am now currently back on my way home from holidays. We're staying in a hotel. I'm sorry for the reception. That is not so great. So therefore, I won't be moving too much. And I hope the quality would be good enough to go any further. So yes, so Pedro and I have been talking a little. He's interviewing me now for the second time. And one of the topics that came across a few times during my career is the problem of people who are very much focused on their work and have very, very little time for the rest of their personal life. So as you might be aware of, I'm focusing mostly on women entrepreneurs, and we see it even this problem going to become even bigger and stronger when they start building family, because in our societies we see that women are still mostly responsible for their children, especially when they are very young. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to that we decided for this topic today. One of the other reasons is that I saw many people having being at the top, being CEOs or being a director of very, very good companies. And what you see often there is they are starting to show the first sign of burnout, and some of them even have burnouts. And this is all due to a lack of balance. And balance means many, many things, but balance is very personal. What I need is not what you need, and it's not what the next person needs to be in balance. So it doesn't mean so much that you have to cut down on your career. It just means that you need to organize your life, personal or professional, in a matter of finding the best out of both worlds for you to strive in everything that you do, in everything that you are. So something that I also wanted to praise is that I've seen many, many people building empires, and what is a bit shocking to me is they have a lot of energy to work, a lot of time throughout the days that is dedicated for their job, but at the end of the day, there are very, very little time to enjoy all the money they make, to enjoy all the nice houses, cars, maybe sometimes if they go to work with them. But yes, basically they build their empires and they don't have time to enjoy it. And I find it a bit sad, I must say, when there is tools and there is tips and tricks that you can implement to get everything out of life. So what we do see on a personal struggle, that's what I just said. People are working days, and sometimes days and nights, and sometimes days, nights, weekends, and holidays, and at the end of the day, they have very little time for leisure, or to visiting friends, or doing some sports, or one day they wake up and one of their parents is dead, and they didn't have any time to spend with them because that was not one of their priorities. And that can be quite sad, and that is often a wake-up call for many of my clients, but it's a bit too late, It's better to enjoy life from where you are at this very moment rather than postponing it later on. So if you feel that you are giving it all for your job, it is fabulous, because this is what you need to make it successful, at least for a few years. But the other side is also interesting for us, for your own well-being. So could it be that you operate on coffee or don't sleep enough? When was the last time you were not working during the evening, weekend, and holidays? So if you are having any of those symptoms, I would say that maybe means that you need to work a little bit further on your personal goals as well. So what do I see in terms of family struggles? Because often nowadays, older person, as of 30 years old, you get married eventually, or have a companion in your life, a partner, and then you have children. And we see that this is challenging for most. And this is mostly due to the lack of resources, the lack of knowledge. And I can give you a small example. That one of them can be that you have a child and he's in daycare for 5 days a week. He starts first thing in the morning and leaves as late and as possible in the evening. And what's the possible result of that? It's very little quality time from you as a parent with your child. And that might leave you both tired, frustrated, unhappy, upset, stressed out. So this is you as a parent and also as a child, what you can feel. But what does it leave for the child himself? The child might feel that he's tired because he doesn't sleep enough. You wake him up early in the morning to go to kindergarten. He can feel a bit abandoned by his parents, not loved, because if you are loved, then if I don't feel loved, it's because my parents don't spend any time with me. Because time is how a child will value the love of his parents, quality time. And he might not feel not heard. So there are many ways then those feelings can be expressed. It can be closing up on himself, or being upset and angry at the situation. So that means when you're talking to him, then it's just yelling and crying and reacting a bit like that. And as for you as parents, you might feel some parental guilt, or you might end up just spoiling your child or your children for this matter. which is not necessarily something that is also beneficial for your child. So when you're a bit luckier, when both of the parents are not career orientated, then you might have often the woman, but also the man, taking a few years off. And then it matches the biorhythm of the child, because they don't have to wake up very early in the morning, so their sleeping pattern is better. Maybe the quality of food is also improved because you are eating food at home, so it might be fresher than what you can get in a canteen, or maybe your child is breastfed, which is even better. But what does that mean? It means that maybe one of both parents have to sacrifice their life for a few years. So if it suits you, this is wonderful. This is definitely better for the child, but the idea is to find solutions that are beneficial for you and for your children. But something I must say is I never met any parents in my life who have been putting their career on hold for a few years and regretting it, because they loved being with their children. We all know that a baby needs way more care than older children, where they are more standing for themselves. They can brush their teeth and go to the toilet and dress themselves up and do all those type of activities, even have play dates and so forth. So basically, for the people who put their career on hold, from what I've seen, is if this is too long, then it creates a big gap between the parental life, the homestay parental life, and the professional market. And that is a major problem, and therefore I will personally not recommend to anybody to stay at home for 10 years and not being working, unless you have other streams of income, and this is another story. But everything is personalized, everything is up to you, and the service I provide is to help you to find the best solution for yourself. So what do we have? We have different cultures, such as in Japan, people usually go to work before their boss and leave after their boss. So basically, if you are a man or a woman, you are working more than your boss, and this is what society is about over there. So what about other things that you like in life? There is no room for it. So maybe this system is not appropriate for many people who are seeking a bit more than just work. In some other countries, we can see that the families are in the heart of their lives, and that often means that women don't work. And so there again, this is completely different, and different solutions have to be found and lived by you in the future, because it's the world is so diverse, so full of colors and laws and regulations and cultures and so forth. And what is also funny is many people bring their own culture to a new country. So you can be having your own business in a country which is different to where you were born in. And therefore you can have a few family members with you. And the idea with that is trying to get the best of your home country, of your culture, and to add the new environment of your new country of residence, and make the best of both worlds to make it work. So this is one little tip along the way. I will have plenty more for you later on. So what do we have? We have every country with different rules and regulations regarding parental leave, regarding how much you are supposed to work, and so forth. In Europe, regarding time of work. Some people are expected to work 35 hours a week, some other 40 hours a week, and people at the top, it's always much longer unless you are very, very lucky. I know a few people who are still active with working and they are making a crap load of money and they are working very, very little. So it's just a matter of finding the best system that is working for you. So what do we know is, what else do we have? We have the culture, what is acceptable or not. Maybe you want to design a new life that is inside you. You have those ideas already, but you see that they are not in line with your culture. That basically, if you go on this path, maybe you will have some family clash, or maybe people will just point their finger at you on the street. And yeah, this is the social pressure, as we call it. So I already talked about a little bit about the family structure, but what else do we have there? Basically, you can be single, you can be married, you can be with child, you can think about building a family. But in this case, if you already have children, you have different caring system and also different schooling system depending on where you are from. So a good thing is to know exactly what's happening around you. So this is also very helpful. And what matters most to me and to you should be, what do you want? So it can be you want to meet up with friends more often, you want to start a family, anything that feels nice for you to do or brings you happiness should be on this list of what I want. And you also have the list of what do I need? Maybe you need to drink more water or cut down coffee, or do both. Drink more water while you are cutting down coffee. So basically here there is another rule about how your brain is working. When you are suppressing or deleting an old habit, you need to put something else in place of the old habit that was not beneficial for you, because your brain doesn't like emptiness. So it's easy. You just need to, you get rid of something that is not working for you, you fill it in with something that is working for you. At least try if it's working for you. Otherwise, you can always fine-tuning it later on. So what else do we have? We have the belief system. A lot of people think rich people are working very hard and poor people have a lot of time. And some people think that if I go on holidays for a week or two, then my company will collapse. People will not be able to manage it without me. And this is here again, those stereotypes that some of them could have been given to us by the culture, the society, your parents, country of residence, all of that, and some others are also made for yourself, by yourself. So basically, if you think that your company will collapse if you don't go on holidays, it's basically that you didn't build strong, solid bases, and therefore you build everything around yourself instead of building everything around your company, which is two different things. And there again, there is a way to improve it, luckily. So let's see what we can do. So now I will give you a lot of tips because I think they are quite important in this sense. And why a lot? Because you might not be able to use them all, or maybe you are already using a few. And maybe even if you just add up one today, that will make quite a difference into your life. So the first one is knowing yourself. Often when we do work a lot, at some point we lose ourselves because we become the definition of work. And is it really something that we want? Not so. So we tend to disconnect to the inner self, and this is something that that we need to reconnect with ourselves to see where we want to go and to be in line with who we are today, because maybe we knew the old version of ourselves, maybe we never knew 100% who we were, but basically you are not the same person as you were as a teenager, and you are not the same person as you were 5 or 10 years ago. So this is my first tip to you, knowing yourself. The second one, it's to be aligned with who you are in most aspects of your life. I would say all aspects of your life. That will be ideal. We are not perfect, so let's strive to get the most out of it. If we are in line with who we are, our principles, and our style of leadership will then be in line with us, not necessarily to be pretending or to wear a mask. And when we are trying to become somebody that we are not, first of all, it disconnects us from ourselves, but it's very tiring, and you are not authentic, and that people feel it also after a while. And when you are in line with yourself, you are way happier, it's way easier, and it's easy. You don't have to pretend. And a lot of people are trying to show that they are very strong leaders and so forth. And you will also see that most of the people who are very successful nowadays have a human side that is extremely developed. Basically, they take people with them on board, and are not really like being there with the stick and the carrot to make them work very well. So the third point will be happiness. Do you have any idea about what makes you happy? Because if you are working so much, at the end of the day, you have very little time. So maybe there are some hobbies you would like to do again, or to be more present with your family, or see more friends. And if you love working and this is your full life, then it's also good. The only thing you need to know, if something is happening to your work for some reasons, and God forbid, I hope for you, what do you have then? You have nothing, because your life is empty beside work. So I would strongly advise you to look for other source of happiness than only one. So the first point is something that you may have been working on. It's a new way of implementing new ways of optimizing your work, optimizing your time, because it's maximizing your time. And when it's maximizing your time, that means that you have an agenda that is a bit more free at the end of the day or at the end of the week, and you can enjoy some leisure time. So if you haven't done any of that, this is again something that I will advise you to do to free up some time in your diary for your own personal wants and needs. Reach out if you need help. So the 5 points, it's something that came across to me with personal development about 15 years ago. And I find it extremely good. It's about rules again, but those are very different. We know a lot about rules in a company, rules in a community, in a country, but what we don't hear often is the rules of universe. And what do we have there is we have the law of attraction. So it's to attract what we want in life to us. So this is a very important rule, but the one that is even better for us today is the law of abundance. So basically what's happening is there is abundance of everything. We have many resources in this universe. So there is at no point a lack. You can be the happier person, the wealthier person, the more loving and giving and caring and the best leader ever, and have your dream life, whatever that can be, and doing everything at once, because it is possible. A lot of people are doing it, and I can show you how. So I wanted to close this little tip chapter. But if you want to know more about how the universe is working for you, just reach out to me. Something else I wanted to mention and came across yesterday. I saw it and I'm like, okay, I need to include it, to include this part here today. Is as a women, we tend to people tend to expect from us that we stay young, pretty, beautiful, with makeup and hair done, and stay slim if possible, work, have a lot of, make a lot of money, and if we have then a family, then it shouldn't show physically or emotionally. We shouldn't feel tired or stressed out and so on. And this is the type of society I'm living in. Likely it's not so full on. Some other society are way more full on with it. But this is something that is external to you, and what is important, it's what is internal to you. And as far as I know, when you find your inner alignment, your inner peace, when you're at peace with all of that, when you say, okay, what matters to me is this and this point, and I will go for that. And if the rest of the world is not happy, then so be it. And this is where you will strive. So I just wanted to share with you that, because I feel that a lot of women are under very undeserved pressure, and this is not normal. And I hope that one day we can reverse this system. But meanwhile, we have to work with it. So those tips are all super, super good. I hope some of them are new to you. So if you can even implement one of them today, that would be lovely. Alone, you can do so much, and with help you can do way more. So if you have any problem or struggle or questions, please reach out. You will have my email address showing up at the end of just now. So I will be happy to give you a hand with that. It's also the same email address for the handout that I will be happy to email to you. And yes, I hope that covered a lot of questions that you could have asked yourself. And I leave it back to you, Pedro. That was Sibylle for now. I wish you all a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Hello, Sibylle. Thank you very much for the presentation. I took some notes, some interesting notes about what you spoke today, and I think most of people are used like you. Once we discussed about balance, have a balanced life, right? And that's not really what's important, because balance means that there's no movement and life should flow. And actually today I was listening to someone that told me we should not strive for balance, we should strive for harmony, which I think I don't know if you agree, if it makes sense, it's a better word for something that people look forward.
Yeah, balance, harmony doesn't really matter, because as long as you know who you are and you are at peace with yourself and you know where you are going, then you are in harmony in definition. But
Okay.
it sounds often a bit more, how should I say, a bit more hippie style or more spiritual. So I don't use this word too often, but it's a good one indeed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, like Sibyl just said, if you want to receive the handout or reach out for coaching sessions or to see if you are compatible to work with Sibyl, because not everybody is compatible to work with Sibyl, and she will select the people. Just send an email to that email that you see over there. So sibyl@sappcoach.com, and as soon as possible, we'll come in contact with you. So it's thank you very much for all of you for watching, and see you soon for the next topic that will come probably in 1 month or so. Wish you a fantastic day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.